I think in the past, a lot of companies have felt, well, I'm not worried as much about the digital channel. That's more of a consumer thing. Why is now the time for B2B companies to be focused on digital?
Well, I think you've almost answered the question because they've effectively, they're seeing new entrants in the marketplace. The traditional B2B companies are being threatened by what may have been seen as traditional either B2C companies or traditional digital-only companies.
And startups have the advantage. They can design it from scratch to be a digital B2B business, where a legacy company has to look at it and figure out how to adapt their product offerings, stand up the operations to make it digital, and then come up with a clean, elegant solution like their competitive startup companies are. And that's tough.
And there's some fundamental skills that they're not used to utilizing or they haven't needed to employ. Some of that includes being really good at innovation. It might be doing particularly good at analytics, how they can partner with other companies.
Thinking about things from the customer's perspective, really focusing on the customer experience is traditionally been a challenge for some B2B companies, but at least what I'm seeing is companies now understand how critical that is, and there's a lot of focus around not only delivering outcomes, but designing rich customer experiences to deliver those outcomes.
A lot of times what we're seeing is that element of wrapping services around products. And if you think about some of the major trends that have occurred in the last 5 to 7 years, the increased use of mobility or mobile phones, to device connections, the willingness to share information, if you combine that with embedding that capability in sometimes some of your more physical products, that allows you to better understand how your customers are utilizing your product.
We're hearing some companies say, this is great, but this doesn't apply to me. I don't have that type of product or service that I can sell digitally or engage with my partners in a digital way. Do you think that mindset really applies in this day and age?
Yeah, I've heard that myself, but increasingly the people who make those decisions want to understand the product better. They want transparency around it, which means that they go online and they look for more information about it. Then they talk to their friends. They might even use social media in a B2B context to better understand what's the best product for this. That kind of engagement is the focus of what we're talking about in terms of B2B digital and the influence that it's having. The buyer for the new B2B world is increasingly a younger buyer, a person who expects access to information, expects transparency, and also expects to be able to have the highest level of service possible. So whether they're engaging online or they're engaging in a call center or they're engaging on the sales force, the customer in a B2B world is increasingly expecting you to understand them across all those channels. And inherently, that's B2B digital.
And while I've seen a few customers try to ignore this eventuality, I think the majority of mine are really just scared by it. They know it's coming, they're not sure how to address it, and they're fearful that they're going to become irrelevant. So they're rapidly trying to think and figure out what's the right strategy for how they should approach it.